Welcome to Touch Revolution, the podcast where the value of thoughtful, helpful, and ethical touch is fully realized. Brought to you by Ke Kino Institute of Healing, a rigorous massage school and clinic. Join us on this journey as we delve into the world of touch therapy, exploring its powerful effects on the mind, body, and soul. So, get ready to embark on a captivating exploration of touch therapy. It's time to revolutionize the way we heal, one soothing touch at a time.
Welcome to Touch Revolution, the podcast where we talk about an epidemic that's happening. This epidemic has to do with the realization of the value of touch. Something we've realized in our culture is that we cannot thrive, we cannot find vitality or longevity without touch. Today we're here at Ke Kino Institute of Healing, and here at Ke Kino we train 60 students a year and we treat about 800 patients a month here. But what's most important today is we're here with Emily Dorsey from our family clinic. This is our second interview having to do with our family clinic, and today we're so glad to have you here. I'm not going to ask you a bunch of questions yet. One of the things I do want to say is that I asked some people in the building about you. I was kind of curious what people had to say about you. And I've done this with other people. This is the first time where everyone said the same thing. And what they said is that Emily is so sweet. She's so thoughtful and sweet. And those are the two words that came out independent of each other, is that you were thoughtful and sweet. And so, first of all, I agree. And thank you for being thoughtful and sweet. I bet that's a problem for you sometimes, though. But we'll have to talk about that today a little bit. Okay. Because it's probably an asset of yours, but it's also probably a problem, being so thoughtful and sweet sometimes.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah. So
There's challenges.
Before we go any further, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Like, how in the world did you get from mother to massage therapist?
Okay. So, hello, I'm Emily. I was a stay-at-home mom. I was fortunate enough to stay at home with my youngest son. And growing up, I always knew, like, I wanted to be either a nurse or a teacher. Like, I've always been very nurturing. I've been called to that. And so when my son went to kindergarten, I started to look, okay, I'm going to go out into the world. And I was looking for something flexible where I could help somebody, but I could still be there for my family, because it's really hard to find, like, work balance life. And I was actually searching for a physical therapist to become a PT, but that never really resonated with me. And every time you search up PT schools, massage therapy would come up and massage schools would come up. And I was like, okay, let me see what this is all about, because before coming here to Ke Kino, I only had one massage, and it was at the Bellagio in Vegas. It was spa. It was very different from what we do here. And I was very insecure because I don't like undressing and putting a robe on and sitting in the lobby waiting for the therapist to come. That, like, affected my state of mind. So during the session, I couldn't calm down. I couldn't relax. I couldn't get comfortable. Just the environment affected the whole thing.
Right.
So when I was researching massage therapy schools near me, Ke Kino pulled up. It wasn't the first school that I researched, but it was the second one. And as soon as I clicked on Ke Kino's website, I was automatically drawn to it. I read everything about it, and it was late at night when my son was sleeping.
Right.
And I just read everything I could on the website, and then I went to sleep, and then I just couldn't get it out of my mind. I didn't want to jump into something if I wasn't sure, but I just kept being called to it. And I would come back to the website and search the website and read everything all over again. And then I contacted the school and met with the director, Amy, came in for the tour here at Ke Kino. And as soon as I walked in the door, I knew I was meant to be here. Like, it was undeniable.
That's a nice feeling to have, isn't it?
Yeah, it was really different for me because I've never been somewhere where I felt at home. And this place feels like home to me. And so I started in, I think it was January 2022, I started the school, and then I graduated in June that year. And with our program, we do 50 hours of intern like clinic hours as students. We practice. And after the 50 hours, I felt great. I could go out to the workforce, but I wanted more.
Right.
Like I wanted my hands on more people. I didn't want to leave this building. So I did the 100-hour program, which is initial 50
Right,
hours.
of course.
And then after that, with our program, we get to sit in with therapists. And here it's very hands-on. So we're not just sitting back watching, advanced therapists and master therapists in a session. We're actually involved in it. And then after that, we have a graduate intern program here. And
who was your mentor?
My mentor is Kat.
Yeah, that's right.
And but I also I sat in with you a lot. I sat in with Lee and Amy and Dana.
Did you already know your calling at that point?
So when I came here, when I decided to come to massage therapy school, I wanted to do pregnancy massage.
Okay, so you already knew that.
I knew that, but then I got with school, it's a lot, and so that kind of got put on the back burner.
Okay.
And but when I was doing the graduate intern program, I had a pregnant mother on my table, and then after that session, I was like, this is it. This is where my calling is. I was very fortunate to have a easy pregnancy, labor, and delivery. Right. But a lot of mothers aren't.
No.
They're stressed out. They're have trouble with their body changes and their posture, and they're in a lot of pain. And it's such a beautiful thing to be pregnant. Yeah. And I think every mother should enjoy that. So that's what I strive to do, is to help out a mother enjoy her pregnancy.
So you, I want to make sure that we get this right. You graduated when?
In June 2022.
So in June of 2022, and here we are, what are we, April, May of 2024. So that means you're not 2 years in yet?
Not 2 years in yet, no.
And let's talk about what you've done with that time. How many shadow hours do you think you have here? Any kind of a ballpark?
Oh, I don't know. Even as
It could be 100 or more?
Probably. I mean, because even now I sit in with...
So it's more than 100 then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were able to come here as a student. You were able to enjoy a lot of different bridge programs we have here, and what that would be a program that bridges you from your graduation to your career, correct?
Right. Yes.
And then you're at least 100, but I bet it's way more than that I think.
Yeah, I mean, I lost track of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so you've had a lot, and that's not you being required to sit in the corner and mind your own business.
Right.
You're actually brought into the therapeutic session and you're asked to help.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
And so one of the things we found here is that our patients actually like that, because the host therapist teaches because they're teaching you. And so we've found our patients like that a lot. They always come back to me and they go, I learned a lot today.
Yeah.
And they like that. They want to learn a lot.
Right.
So here at not even 2 years yet, you're here at the family clinic. Let's talk about your other aspects of your education, because you've trained over at Emerald some.
Yes.
Handcrafted.
Yes.
And then what else? Just kind of go through a list.
Here. So I did an intro to lymphatics. And I've done a lot at Emerald Bodyworks. Therapeutic stretching, cupping. I did their prenatal and postnatal classes. And then
were those classes basic in comparison to what we're doing here? It was more basic stuff.
Some of it's more specialized.
Okay,
like
good.
The prenatal, they didn't teach us like the stuff we learn at massage school.
Right.
They taught us like special techniques to alleviate pain.
Good.
And then I've done CST1 with Upledger.
Good.
I've done LDT1 with Chickley.
Good.
So I've done those. I'm about to do visceral manipulation.
Okay, with Baral.
With Baral.
And you also did 4 days with Wilco from the Netherlands.
That's right. Yes.
So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
What else you got? What other? I mean, think about this. This is 2 years. Who does
Yeah.
this? That's really amazing.
Yeah, I've done
Your commitment to
yeah.
education is really profound.
And we also offer a lot of CE classes here at Ke Kino, which I've
Right.
taken. We've done the myofascial release classes, cupping as well.
Were all of those classes with Marnie?
Yes.
Matches?
And
Okay.
then the TMJ class,
TMJ
which
class,
goes
yeah.
great with cranial sacral. I was lucky enough
Right.
to take cranial sacral like the week before.
Right.
So
Wow.
it was great. Yeah, because it kind of all goes together. And once you take a class, you implement that into your
Right.
session, like on everybody, I do a little bit of CST. I do a little bit of lymphatics,
And do you do energy work with most people
I
as
do,
well?
yeah.
Yeah.
I did take Reiki also here as
Yeah. And who did you train with there? With Marnie?
with Marnie and Linda Ball.
And so you did.
So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was great.
So let me get this straight. You graduated, you did all of our extended programs, took advantage of all of those. Then you got employed here. You became a massage therapy instructor. Thank you, COVID. You can become an instructor more easily.
Yeah.
So that triggered changing that to a 1-year requirement, I think.
Yeah, they did 1 year, and
so-
you have to have so many hours of hands-on.
So so you've had a lot for 2 years, you've had a lot of hands-on, you've had a lot of hand-holding and guidance and support. You've had people that have come to believe in you sometimes even when you probably didn't believe in yourself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Which is something that's important here at
Yeah.
Ke Kino.
Yeah, there's always it's always very supportive.
Yeah.
Here.
But how many hours of CE credits do you think you have?
Oh,
So you got at least 100 of shadow, which is I think we're actually undershooting
Yeah.
that by 100.
yeah. So Wilco was for 4 days. CST.
So you're at
one-
30 something hours just for Wilco.
Yeah, and CST 1 was 4 days.
Okay.
Lymphatics was 4 days.
So we're in 100 hours already.
Yeah. At Emerald Bodyworks, there's like 2 day. They have 2 day classes, which is all day. I don't know. I have to calculate that, but it's up there.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a
lot
couple
up there.
100 probably, plus let's say 150 hours of shadow time.
Yeah.
So that's 250, 350,
Yeah.
plus your regular hours here.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And can you kind of experience the fast track that is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the family clinic, by the way, for a new therapist to be in our family clinic takes a lot for that. Not all therapists can pull that off. I've been practicing for 33 years this year. One of our other primary practitioners here has birthed 200 or 300 babies. Like it's hard to come to an environment with people who have been around a long time or people that have done really difficult things. And yet you step right in and you just fit in so well. The quality of your touch, and then the honor that you have for mothers and babies. Talk to us about what the practice is like. I know that's a very vague question, but just talk to us about like what do you do with moms when they come in?
So when they come in, my sessions are more full body. I take everything in. I want this time for them to relax and to kind of just have time for themselves. I can do more specifics areas. It's just whatever they're feeling. I prefer to do full body because that relaxes them more.
Can you speak to what do you mean by that? What do you?
So I address everything on.
So you put your hands on.
I put my hands
right.
on them. And I do, I usually with pregnant mamas, I start at the abdomen.
So they're face up.
They're face up. And depending on how far along they are, how comfortable they are, they can be semi-reclined. They can be laying flat.
So you have electric hydraulic
yes,
tables
we have a
that
hydraulic
are
table that I'm so thankful for because it would be really hard. I'd have to have a step stool.
Right.
I'd have to have all kinds of things. But here at Ke Kino, we're prepared for the mamas. And so I just address what I'm called to,
So you kind of picture you're in the session with them, and you start to evaluate them.
Yes.
Not just through the words, but just you observing them, right?
Yes. So we they come in and we sit down. And I like to, I think it's very important to get on their level. So I'm not standing up, hovering over
Right,
them.
exactly.
They sit down in the chair. I sit down on the table and we have a conversation. How are you feeling today? What would you like to address? Like, if they're new, how did you hear about us?
Right.
Previous pregnancies, any issues, like what would they want to get out of the session today?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's also about educating them, like especially first time moms, they don't know like why their back's hurting,
Exactly.
So I'm like, well, I get up and I'm like, we have this extra, and I over exaggerate the pelvic tilt, we have this extra weight on our abdomen. So we kind of tilt our pelvis and that affects, your lower back. And so
Right.
it's about educating them about posture and about all kinds of things.
But some of these issues that you're bringing to light, most of them you actually have some sort of remedy for. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And so it's that kind of brings up a general ethic we have here, is that we don't talk about things we can't fix.
Right.
Because we believe that the medical field has done plenty of that. They do all the time. They talk about things that can be diagnosed but not really corrected.
Right.
And so for us, we're always asking in the therapeutic model, what is it that I can correct today?
Mm-hmm.
Not what am I going to call this list of symptoms, but what can I correct
Right.
today? And pregnancy is a very good example of that, is that a lot of times where moms are caught in patterns, let's say that it's a second or third birth and they had an extremely traumatic birth. Or let's say they've had miscarriages they haven't resolved yet. And so that can leave them kind of stuck because those things they can't change.
Right.
But what they can change is how their body has held immobility or restrictions in reflection to those traumas. And then we can actually do something about that.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. It feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels great. And it's also just kind of, holding space for them a lot of times so they can process it. It's like,
Can you talk about what do you mean by holding space? I know what you mean.
so
But
I just like to, first of all, I always try to put out into the world unconditional love, safety, healing, and trust in all my sessions.
That's like your ethic. Then.
Yes,
I got it.
that's something I repeat every day with every session, every morning, because that's important. It's very important to feel like you can come into my room and just feel safe.
Right.
I can feel this way and it's okay. I'm not going to be judged.
Yeah.
She's not going to judge me. There's no judgment here at Ke Kino or in the session rooms. And so a lot of times it's just they get on the table and then they have emotion and, it could be something that that they've been holding in for years, even before they got pregnant. And so it's just being there, being that supportive. Sometimes it's just a hand on the saying, I'm with you, I'm here. It's okay to feel this way. You don't have to wipe your tears, like let them flow, let them release.
Yeah.
Crying is a good thing. And I think in our society, like a lot of times it's not okay. People grow up. It's not okay to cry,
Right.
Wipe your tears. Let's get on with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's something I do with my son as well. I'm like, it's okay to cry,
Right.
and it's okay not to know why you're crying,
Mm-hmm.
So I just try to have that open space and let them feel how they want to feel.
That's
and
good.
Be supportive of that.
That's that like back in the beginning when I'm asking people and everybody's saying the same thing about you, that you're so sweet. I think that's part of that's just one way to put it. But there is this kind of ease about you that's made us so interested in you here, because we like to be around that. But more importantly is we think that's missing. If you can imagine, like in our culture and the culture of pregnancy, there's a lot of rigidity. There's a lot of rules, and there's a lot of men.
Yeah.
And so we feel like there's this need for a return to feminine. And that doesn't mean the removal of masculine for us. That just means that we might be out of balance sometimes. And so we always appreciate someone that comes in like you. It's kind of hard to find you. We found you though, so thank you for being here.
Yeah, I was good to be here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell this is really touching to you though too, even in just talking about it. Like you're really leading with your heart, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Every day.
And yeah, leading with your heart. And if you didn't, you still need to know anatomy, right?
Yes.
And you kind of know, you probably need to know some pathology and some kinesiology.
And we're very, here, the massage therapy program and the instructors are very thorough, and they're very helpful. We want you to succeed. Like everybody here wants our students to succeed. And so I never had an issue coming, asking a question, hey, I don't understand this. Can you explain it to me? So I was always fortunate enough to be able to ask questions without feeling scolded or you should know this. And so I think here at Ke Kino, we're very supportive of each other. And that's one thing that I love here. Even the therapists, we don't hoard information.
That is for sure.
This is my client, and this is my information, and you can't have it. All of us share the knowledge.
Exactly.
We want everybody to succeed. If one person succeeds, we all succeed. I know that's cliche, but that's
it's a true cliche.
Yeah, that's how we are. And I love that about here. So.
We also share patients equally.
Yes, and I love that.
That's a really. I've been in other clinics. I've been asked part of many clinics over the years, and that's a difficult thing to build into a culture because a lot of people believe there's some sort of scarcity. And in Dallas, there's definitely not scarcity.
No, there's plenty.
We'll never get to all the need for help. So.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love. There's, we've had clients that I've had that we share with me, you, Megan. We all have it, and it's an amazing thing when they give birth and they share that story and show pictures and thank us for doing that.
Yeah.
Being there for them and helping them throughout the whole pregnancy. So,
let's talk about. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. I want to talk about rebirthing practices here. What that's been like for you to be around. I'm curious in your honest thoughts about it because I know it's a challenge.
So it's amazing. I didn't know that was possible. Before coming here, I had no idea, rebirthing, what is that? And I've been fortunate enough to sit in with you and Megan and see that. And it's so powerful to witness that, to see the difference in, the brightness afterwards and how the baby just knows what to do and just unwinds and navigates, and the mother and the bond that they share. It's so powerful.
That's something we saw a long time ago, was actually a shallow latch, which is functionally a problem for a mom, and it's something very common. We say that a shallow latch is like running on your toes for an hour. That it wears the baby out and it kills the mother. Like her nipples are just trashed.
Yeah.
We've seen nipples literally partially missing. And what we've I know and we've seen moms that have that and they're still breastfeeding. It's unbelievable the strength of these incredible mothers. And what we realized is that what's being compromised is the bond. And that if we can get a deeper bond, we'll get a deeper latch. The latch is not only that. First of all, we believe that moms are always bonding 100% of their capacity, and so what we're actually working with is capacity. I know I'm preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, no,
but
good.
That's a fun part of this work here. The other thing that's notable here is that you're a student and you had access to all this information here.
Yeah.
That we didn't block you from once we found that you had a calling that we felt like we could help you with, which is important.
Yeah.
So as far as the ingredients of your success, you needed to have a calling that was in our wheelhouse, and you did. And so from there, we needed to expose you so that you could be aware of what's available. And I'm sure if we went around the world, there's all sorts of things available that all of us would be surprised by. But here, we kind of have an aspect of our clinic that's always trying to access the cutting edge of what there is. And so I just want to make sure that our audience knows that our students have access to that.
Yeah, and I don't think if for some reason, the universe didn't call me to Ke Kino, and I went to another massage therapy school near us or near me, then I don't think I would be where I am today. I don't think any other massage school would have provided me with that. Because a lot of out there in the world doing all these CE credits, you get to meet other therapists from
Right.
other places. And they don't have the same story as the therapists or the students that come from our program do. It's very like, okay, you have this. It's very basic. It's not, you don't have a lot of the knowledge. Like the therapists that I've met that have gone to other schools that are new, like me, are still very insecure. And I don't know if I know this or not.
Right.
And I mean, we all go through that. Like I still have times where like, am I qualified for this?
I still have that too.
Yeah, but
So-
I mean, you have to like, I mean, it's a work in progress. We're a work
Yeah, it
in
is.
progress. But yeah, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for Ke Kino's massage school program.
Well, we don't know. I don't know what other schools are doing. I don't, we've been hesitant to ever spend any time trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
But we do know what we're doing. And what we've been doing is trying to figure out what's the breakdown that the student is suffering that wants to be a student, and they need to pass their boards. In our opinion, they likely need to do some personal work, meaning that the quality of their ability is actually measured by their own work, not their own knowledge.
Right.
And so, so again, we don't know what other schools are doing, but we're leaning in really hard in those areas.
Yeah.
Because we would like to see students come typically more in your direction, not necessarily being here. We can't hire everyone here, and believe me, we want to. It's like puppies. Like you want to keep all the puppies,
Yeah.
But regarding the education part, you got out and you passed your boards.
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
So, and I will say that there's a difference between knowing your stuff and studying and actually hands-on, because I like to research, that I like to study.
Yeah.
I love the books. But if you don't get your hands on people, the books aren't going to be.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
right,
matter how
right.
much you know. So that's one thing I love here, like with our program, our Sweetest Massage, like we learn and we get to put, we practice on each other, our other classmates, which for doing that, we form a close bond. And that's when you realize that, oh, I still have healing that I need to do. Like like from the age of 15, I had an eating disorder, and that's something I still struggle with. But when I started school here, I was like, okay, I'm good. Like I'm over it. I haven't taken anything to stop. I haven't starved myself. I haven't worked out like to burn 2,000 calories just because I ate a piece of cheesecake. So doing that, getting my own work here done, just starting with Swedish massage in our program, like opened my eyes like, oh, I still have some healing that I need to do. And the therapist here, like all of the instructors, and they have helped me through that. And I mean, it's something that never goes away, but you feel yourself healing. And like, I would never have mentioned that ever, but it's healing for me to talk about that.
That is,
because
isn't
it's very important for other people to know that this is something that you can get through. This is something that we support,
Yeah.
So.
I'm so glad you shared that. Something you and I were talking about when we were preparing was that sometimes the game we're playing in life, as that game becomes more consequential or becomes more significant, that it requires a deeper level or more expanded level of personal work.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're explaining.
Yes.
As it showed up here, and I mean, we pride ourselves in changing the game for people and upping the game.
Yeah.
And because in that environment, people are required to grow, and in an environment where we're just making sure everybody's freaking comfortable all the time, nobody's growing.
Yeah.
And we don't do that, and we do provide a safe environment for people to break through.
Yes.
I appreciate that you mentioned that you came here and you thought that you're healing.
I'm fine.
I'm fine, but not in this environment. Like it
Right.
stirs something up, especially in the touch sciences where you're going to go out and you're going to use touch
Yeah.
and intimacy.
Right. And so I've always, ever since I was little, I was drawn to like healing, loving touch. And when I was growing up, my mom was like, you were always running and giving everybody hugs. And my son's the same way. We're like, that's how I
I think your
communicate.
son hugs me when he comes in the
He
building.
hugs everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hugs everybody. We're huggers, and
He's so sweet.
Yeah. So it's very important, just not as a client as well. Like I see lots of therapists here,
Right.
but also being a therapist and healing people with touch or helping them with their healing process. Like
Sure.
I don't heal them, they heal themselves, but I help and guide them to they're okay to like see where they will go.
Yeah, of course. And if you're doing your own work, then you're kind of asking them to join you.
I think it's very important for you to do your own work. Like
And
always
how does that
growing.
happen here? I know how it happens, but I'm kind of
How
curious.
does
How does the personal work happen here? What are some of the different opportunities that have generated that for you?
So I don't know.
Well, let me
Like,
ask
okay,
something else.
so
Then let's talk about. Let's say that we just put really difficult clients on your schedule. Does that require some work for you?
that does require work. Requires me to kind of get out of my head and
Right.
see. I used to be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do.
Mhm.
Look at everything, write notes. Okay, I'm going to do this. But then I would get into the session and I would be like, okay, what step am I supposed to be on? What am I supposed to do? Like,
Right.
and that doesn't work for me. You have to go in and say, okay, what does the body need? Where do I need to go?
Right.
And you have to listen. You have to.
So there had to be some breakthrough there around a tendency to want to control outcome.
Yes. Like,
Am I catching that right?
yeah, you always want. Yes, you want to control the outcome. You have to let that go.
Yeah.
You have to say,
Right.
okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what
Yeah.
the body needs. And whatever happened is meant to happen. I might not fix this, but I know that all my clients walk out the door feeling better than they
Yeah.
did walking in.
Right.
And that's very important to me. And if that's the only time I see them, that's fine. I help them in the way that they needed.
Right. And so that's an aspect of the personal work here. It's just in the interaction with the clients. And if we're entrusting you, because once we entrust someone here, we'll really stretch them on what they can handle. I mean, we've been sending the most complex patients to our Young Stars lately.
Yeah.
Young Stars, as you know, is a young group of therapists that are being educated or receiving advanced education weekly. But another part of our personal work that we provide here is in actually bringing in teaching from outside of our facility. We particularly, several years ago, started a crusade to connect with people in other countries that we felt like were in alignment with us, which led us to one of my favorite people in the world, which is Wilco Idema
Yes.
from the Netherlands. And we would only try to find education that expanded our thinking. And we've been at this for a while, so we're still always kind of keeping one foot in that world. But the other foot, we want to find like-minded practitioners as far away as we can find them. And so we have developed an incredible reputation, a relationship with Wilco in the Netherlands. And he is coming back this October.
I'm really excited for
I
that.
am too. Can you talk about what we find in these relationships is a lot of times these classes that are being taught, like by Wilco, are a big stretch emotionally for our therapist. Can you speak to what that coursework was like?
Yeah, it was. It's, it was another powerful experience, a powerful class. We had to speak deep within our guts, within our hara, and that's not something that we do regularly, like as a society. Like,
so it was requiring you to access areas of your body where power is that had been closed.
Yes.
And then can you imagine that? I know you know what kind of therapist you were when you were done there. Like, it changed you, right?
Yes. Yeah. It gave me more strength and more tools, and it helped me to feel comfortable, doing what we do. Like you have milestones that you reach. And I think that was one of mine where before I would never cry in front of everybody. And like, as soon as I came to Ke Kino, like I cry, I cry, and it's okay. Like it's okay to cry in front of people. So, and that's something that along with my, my healing journey,
Was there
accepted.
anybody? There was all sorts of people. I was in that class. There was other master level therapists in that class. Did anyone not go all in?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No,
I noticed that about that class.
Yeah, even people like that were very that aren't really affiliated with Ke
Right.
Kino, and they were out of their comfort zone, but they still gave 100% of what they could give.
That class for me was there was a couple of people that came from outside of the institute here accidentally. To be really honest, I didn't realize that class was going to end up in front of people that could sign up for it that weren't from here.
Yeah.
And so it really gave us a chance to see what we're doing here, given how uncomfortable those students were. And it was quite a stretch. They did a great job, though.
Yeah.
But it was a stretch like this. They were like, man, you guys are, I don't know what y'all are doing there, but it was
I
wild.
think even Wilco, we surprised him with.
He still talks about
yeah,
it.
he not expecting what.
Wilco leaves me video messages all the time. That's the way we communicate with each other, which has been really amazing. And then I'm going to be in Netherlands in July.
Yeah.
We'll get a chance to see him. Get my family will get a chance to meet him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So so these things are all here at Ke Kino, like this. You've had access. So when you came here as a student, some people will say that, well, why is your school so expensive? And first thing I would say is it's not expensive enough. Like being the guy that is in the background that's running this and enduring the financial struggles of running a school, I would say we're not anywhere near where we should be financially, the cost.
Yeah.
However, that doesn't change anything about what we're giving it. And there's this notion that if I get out of school faster, that I can get to making money faster. And I'm always challenging students to look maybe more at a year, but probably more 2 years. And that the student making the most money at 2 years is probably the one that's going to succeed the most, not the one that's making money at 3 months.
Yeah. So for me, it was never about the money. Like,
Sure.
It's expensive, but I was fortunate enough not to have to like really worry about the money.
Right.
Like that wasn't, and even now, like it's not about the money to me. It's about
of course.
helping people. And yes, we could be considered more expensive than some other schools, but you get so much out of this school, out of Ke Kino, out of this program, just the education, the support, all the CE classes that we have, and just feeling that you have somebody you can count on, here to support you.
Yeah. We were thinking about a graduate program here. Actually, a parallel program. We have our basic program here, which is designed to get students like you to break through, which you've done in spades. Thank you. Great example. It's also designed to get you to pass the boards, which you did.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for passing your boards.
Well, yeah, you're welcome. Well, thank you for preparing me. I mean, it was super stressful going up into it because everybody knows you're taking it. Like, what if you fail?
Right.
But if you do good in our program here in school and you put time into study, you're going to be over prepared for it. Like after the stress came down and I took the my NBLEX, like I was like, okay, I was like really prepared for that. Like I did okay. It was just all in my head, the stress of it. But
it is, and it requires some critical thinking and so that's a big part of what we're doing here. But we are looking at a graduate program that would be similar to what with all the other stuff you've gone through. That would include a yearly visit here from Wilco. We also have Etienne Pierceman coming here in March. He'll be here for 9 days with a 1 day break.
And
so
next year, right?
Yeah, next
March
year.
Yeah. I'll be in that too.
So again, when we look at these extended programs, the reason we're looking at this is there's a lot of students from other schools that say, I wish I'd gone to Ke Kino.
Right.
And so, and I hear that a lot. And so we'd like to make them wish that even more. But we'd also like to provide a remedy for that. And one of the remedies is that we could have them apply. Yeah. And actually join a kind of graduate program here. And this school here is much more like a private school than a university.
Yeah.
The level of what we call is customer intimacy that we employ here is extensive. Like, we're always asking the question, what's the problem the student's suffering and how can we help them remedy that problem? And it could be everything from the need for payments to the need for personal work. Or it could be sometimes people go through major life changes while they're here, or they have a loss in their family, or just so many different things.
Yeah.
Or they don't understand how the body works, or they're not healthy enough. Man, we see that a lot. Students come in and we realize their main breakdown is not their mind, that they're actually not very healthy,
Yeah.
that they need to eat some vegetables or something, you know? And so a lot of times we're kind of like pushing people in a lot of those different areas.
Yeah.
But, you know, our primary program, we try to be as advanced as possible, and you're a good example of someone that's taking full advantage of that. And then I think we have a graduate program brewing here.
Yeah.
Not really talked about it anywhere yet, but I think we already have so many components for it. Putting it together, it would be a little easier since we have a lot of the pieces already. You know, we just have to get these people, like Etienne lives in Vermont, I think, somewhere up northwest, excuse me. And then, of course, Wilco. And we have some other folks we're talking to. So
Yeah, I'm super excited for it too. But
well, let me see. I want to touch on one last thing here. Tell us of a really good story you've had, like a client that had a profound success with you.
I don't know.
Talk us about what it's like to help someone all the way from conception to birth. What's that feel like? What's that entail?
So we had 3 of us shared a really a client together, and I saw her multiple times through her pregnancy, and it was just, I don't know how to explain it really. Just powerful, just being there for her, supporting her, what she needed when she needed it. And she, sent us like pictures, and, she's recommended people to me like, hey, if you are pregnant, you need to go see Emily. She's the person to see at Ke Kino, which was really like,
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was really amazing for me. So, but it's just, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if I could put it into words. It's just
it is it's really gratifying. But what I love about you is the example you gave is of someone you collaborated with.
Yes.
And oh my God, I'm like, you were so amazing.
Yeah,
because you could have patted yourself on your back, and you didn't. You immediately helped everyone know it takes a team.
Yeah, it definitely takes a team. Like, teamwork makes the dream work and all that.
That's true.
But it's really, that's really like what we do here.
Yeah.
We're very much a team here.
It was, I remember sharing pictures with you of the birth you're talking about. I can't remember if she was a VBAC though. Cannot remember.
I want to say she was.
I think she was. And so that's something to know regarding, it's one thing to help moms with pregnancies, but to help a mom that had a surgical birth that's returning to a vaginal delivery is something that we're really proud of being good at, I think. But it's also for you to be out 2 years and you're actually working at that level is really amazing, because it's a much more complex issue dealing with adhesions that have developed in the lower abdomen area, especially when a mom's pregnant, and having the confidence to know where to work, how to work, and how much not to.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to like, the education here, and then being able to sit in with master therapists and advanced therapists to know like the techniques, and to be able to put my hands on the client while a master therapist is there, you know, and it's like, no, you got it. This is how you do it. This is how you touch, lighten your touch. You can go deep here. I think that's really important and unique to something that we do here at Ke Kino. Like, we have that opportunity to be a student. Like, I was still just a student in the session, with you. And then I was a, graduate in the session with you, still very new to it. And being able to experience like different styles, and then you put everything, into one and make it your style.
It's perfect, right? Yeah. That's amazing.
What works best for you and your clients?
Well, First of all, it's been amazing having you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
I know we've both
having
been
me here.
excited to sit down and talk. We work with each other all the time, but we don't really get this chance.
Yeah.
And this has been amazing.
And this is not something I would have done like 2 years ago. I'd have been like, no, sorry.
Yeah, you kind of shocked me. I was expecting nervousness, and you kind of pretty quickly jumped over into, no, I got this.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just another sign of your growth and development.
Yeah. Well,
And
thank
so
you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that you're here and that you still managed to demonstrate your honesty around emotions like today.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
you still stayed real, Last question, what's next? I'm hoping you're just going to hang out with us here for long periods
Oh
of
yeah,
time.
y'all have me keys, so y'all gave me keys,
you
so I'm
got
not
keys?
leaving you. I'm
People
not
are always
leaving
like, I got keys. I'm like, you did?
yeah. So right
that's
now it's just I'm tomorrow. I think we're doing the visceral manipulation class. It's a 4-day
Okay.
class. I'm also in the process of getting my yoga certification,
Good.
but that's because I want to do prenatal yoga
Sure.
because that was something that really helped me.
Good.
So I want to help, pregnant mamas
Of
as
course.
much as I can. So I'm in the process of that, and then it'll be the prenatal yoga, which will
Good.
go with.
And then you've got Wilco in October.
I have Wilco in October.
And then you got Etienne in March.
Yes.
And Etienne's a baby guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually treat a lot of babies anymore, but
Yeah.
he's written a beautiful book on it. I don't know if you've got that.
Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
good.
I read it. And yes. So.
And then what else you got in there? I'm sure you've got other things knowing you.
I have other things. I'm trying to think what else I'm doing. I have other stuff signed up. I'm actually doing a class with Emerald Bodywork.
Yeah.
And so it's gua sha, scar
Oh,
tissue
yeah.
work.
Of
I'm
course.
doing
The
that.
Korean technique.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's in May.
Cool.
So
It'll be interesting to see if you find that to be too aggressive, especially after a Baral class. That's
Yeah.
at 5 grams all weekend.
right.
So it's going to be interesting to see. And that's something that's so cool about this profession is that you can learn all these different things, and especially how we can weave all of them into one thing.
Right.
And that it's almost like a fingerprint that develops that's so unique to the person, like an art.
Right.
There are some universities teaching massage therapy classes, and there's talk of other universities, and so many people. I had a lot of calls when some of that was coming out in the media about, was I worried about that? And from a business standpoint, I'm not a fool. I know to be aware of that just because I think we're special doesn't mean the whole market knows that we're special.
Yeah.
And so we've done a lot of work like this to help show people how we are a unique offering. But one of the things we do not think that this school should be a health science center
Right.
or should be married to a nursing school.
No.
What we do think is that this is an art that requires a lot of objective information so that our students know what they have their hands on, and also that they can pass the boards that most of the state can't freaking pass.
Yeah.
But our students seem to be able to pass. At the same time, we're growing artists here. We're not growing scientists.
Right.
And so this is an art. And so it starts to look a lot like a fingerprint reflective of that person. And that's what's happening for you. And that's one of the things that's been really amazing about watching you grow and develop.
Yeah,
Because it's just another unique offering.
Yeah. And I think here it's different. Like we have something different that can't be copied or like imitated.
It would be hard to, right?
Right. Because we're more personal here. And also, like, we've had clients that came to school because they saw what we did here and they wanted to be a part of that. And it's also like word of mouth. Like, we have clients that recommend us to everybody. And, like, my whole family comes here, you know. So even my 8-year-old son, comes here. And so I think it's very unique. And I don't think I would trust... my bond with my 8-year-old son. Like,
he's so sweet.
I don't think I would trust him going anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have that trust with people in order to, feel comfortable, feel safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be able to relax on the table. So.
Well, thank you for trusting us with your son.
Yes.
And your whole family.
Yeah.
So This has been a great interview. Thank you so much for listening. There's kind of two things to think about here. If you're listening and you're like, man, I think I could be a student there, or I'm curious what that would be like. Those are all reasons to start with a conversation. We do not offer applications from moment one. There has to be kind of an interaction that begins with us, and that usually starts with a phone call, or it could be a sit-down conversation. And what we're looking for is, what is it that you're wanting to create, to see if we can get in alignment with that. So that's one reason, student. Or if you're a pregnant mom, or you're planning on being pregnant, or you had a VBAC and you've been told you can't, you've had a surgical birth and you've been told you can't birth vaginally, we can provide you with a lot of guidance there. So either of those, same phone number, 972-509-5588. Give us a call and let's start this. Thank you.